get scanning report, blood tests, everything, right? So the first thing, you go with a stomach pain, head pain, or whatever, they say go for a scanning center. So when you go to a scanning center, you see ultrasonics, ultrasound, MRI, CT, everything. So even though in our day-to-day life, for our better of EMF and RF, and for the image reconstruction, you need an computer science guy. For collecting the signals at a proper SNR, you need an EC guy. And to have that kind of a composure, you need a metallurgy guy. So all things come, all disciplines should occur. So I know no other person who has been that kind of interdisciplinary. So you speak about physics, he can understand physics and he will get to know. Speak about electronics, sensors, he will speak. Speak about electrical, he will speak. So cross-discipline and interdisciplinary research is the driving the future, and he is the pioneer whom I know to the best, who can flagship, like he's like a flagship of the interdisciplinary research, as I know. So with these few words, there are many things to say about him, but keeping that time in the interest of time and keeping the context in mind, so I'm restricting my words to this and make the use of this session, so you get to know where you can use your skill set to perpetuate the progress of the humanity. And second thing is, if you have any doubts on like your career or something, even he is helpful enough and he's very energetic to help you out in those regards. Okay. With this, I'll conclude my talk. Thank you.
Engineering. Please welcome him with your huge round of applause.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? So, which branch, which year you are from? Second year, third year, fourth year? How many fourth years are there? Okay, so they already know what to do. Right? Shall we assume that? Okay, that's good. So which engineering branches you are from, like electrical, computer science, mechanical? How many people are from mechanical engineering? 2 people. How many people are from electric? How many from material science and metallurgy? 0. Civil engineering. Okay. Which engineering discipline do you think is the best? Right? So we should all fight. I'm going to watch you fight, right? And then I'm going to judge. So they don't want to get into fight in whatever we do. We don't realize that, when you are entering the BTech, most of the time, unlike in US, I don't know how many of you know how it works. People don't declare their major until second year. Depending on the first year grades, they will declare the major, right? So they don't like just irrespective of their GPA, they join different engineerings. So very few times with my undergrads, I discuss about their career opportunities, right? And obviously in my lab, and I interact with faculty from this system. I know some of you have misconceptions. I can answer. I'm sure most of you would be thinking, although you may not be openly saying, working for Google, working for Amazon, working for Wipro, Infosys. No, this is not your dream job. So what is your dream job then? Sorry? 1 lakh per annum? No, sorry. Okay. So you're talking about money, right? So yeah, that comes, so 12 lakhs per annum. Is that, but 12 lakhs per annum, you don't have to study in NIT. You know that? So even a farmer, people would make a lot of money just by doing some business, right? They are making much more business than being an undergrad and studying in premier institutes. Actually, there is a big controversy, big movement in US. Don't go to college. They don't teach you nothing, right? Whatever you want. Even Elon Musk just tweeted that 2 days ago. How many of you are following Elon Musk? You know him, right? So I like him for many things. He just recently tweeted, you can go and check his Twitter handle, you don't have to go to college. So you don't have to. If you want to learn knowledge, you can just there is a lot of YouTube recently, right? I recently heard one of the Andhra, one famous college, she's an aspiring computational, computer science student. Because of COVID, she could not go to classes, and she mastered all the knowledge by just going through YouTube, learning everything from YouTube and some seniors, and she got like 60 lakhs per annum package. I forgot her name. So you don't have to go to college to earn money. So what is the real life goal? Working for somebody? Google? Amazon? Earning a lot of money? So let's say you earn money by 30 or 40, you earned enough money, right? So many engineers that actually, I graduated from IIT Delhi with MTech long time back. So I used to have friends, they say that till age 40 we will earn, then retire, right? So, life ambition, from my sake, so it should be like chasing some problem. You want to be an innovator. You want to create something that was not there before, that will shape the future generations. Like, you want to make sure your future generations are living in a better world, right? So for that, first we should not destroy the world, right? With your engineering and skills, you should not be destroying the world. You should be making a better world. Let's say if you are a civil engineer, your ambition, okay, I'm going to create a nice structure or a nice dam so that people can survive, right? Or if you are a computer scientist, your job is not to break the computers by injecting virus. At least that's the first expectation, right? And then we expect you to do greater things. So we always want to make future generations live in a better world, right? And our effort is towards that cause, right? We should have a good motivation, right? So your at least like at least you should have a textbook standard answers for your employers, okay? So at least, don't say that I want to earn 12 lakhs per annum, right? My goal is to work for, at least from this meeting, you should know, or you will know what to answer to your employers, right? What is the answers you should give? Okay, so, I can keep on talking unless you ask me questions. So at least for one answer, I would say is, as an engineer, you are in a very premier institute like in NIT, right? So you always should have a burning mind to test yourself. So this is a playground for you to test your skills, upgrade your skills, right? And this is a very nice, there may be one very good student next to you. He may be doing very good in practicals or scoring very high, right? So you can compare with him. Okay, why I'm not able to do this? Or how can I learn from him? Or how can I learn from the environment? So, and then upgrade your skills, test your skills, practical skills, not just theoretical skills. What is a Fourier transformation? What is a Laplace transformation, right? By answering that question would not help you. The real skill comes, how many of you take practicals very seriously without copying from others? You do the experiment by yourself, but let's say you are like 4 people working together, right? Not just depending on somebody's value. You are actually doing that experiment, whether you are building your own circuit, you take pride in that. See, that is where it starts from. Your pride and prejudice actually starts from that place. If you let other student to make the circuit for you, if you are making the other student, if you are taking the values from the other student and putting in your lab notebook and submitting to your instructor, right? There itself you are compromising on the quality, right? So you have to take all those practicals very seriously. Okay, that's where, how many of you want to be entrepreneurs, startup companies? Eventually, right? So that's the way, this is the, how can you become an entrepreneur? Some people have a very huge ambition. They want to start a company right after the BTech. How? How is that possible? Some people want to, let's say, even after MTech or maybe after working. Can you start a company after working for some company for 3-4 years? How? That means, is everybody who is working for some company for 3-4 years is qualified to start a company? So what is that you are looking for to start a company? What makes you confident to start a company? Experience, right? How do you get that experience? Exactly. So can I say that, let's say you have an electrical circuits course, you got 100 out of 100. Do you have enough experience now? Let's say you mastered all the knowledge, you got 100 out of 100 in each course in your BTech, right? You are graduating with a presidential medal now, okay? Are you now qualified to start a company? So what gives you a person confidence to start a company, which is much, I like it. I like it. That's a very interesting thing, right? So you are self-sufficient, you are self-employer, you are providing employment to hundreds of students, and that's really great. But that comes with a great responsibility. Nobody wants to start a company with a venture capitalist money. Somebody, a big Babu has donated 1 million something, right? You cheated him with your idea. Although you don't have a good idea, you could convince him, right? That's what most of the times happening. That's what I'm saying. So you started a company which would fail eventually because you don't have a strong basis, right? But how do you acquire that strong basis? And when will it start? Getting that experience, practical knowledge, but how you acquire that? And when we should start? From second year? At the end of the second year courses, third year courses maybe? Or maybe once we start fourth year? From day one you join an university. From day one, right? So you have like very good faculty who are experienced by doing multiple projects, right? Understanding, working with the PhD students. So each university has a good group of PhD students, right? So they are the most energetic and knowledgeable. Professor may be very busy. So by associating yourself with a certain lab, right? And that professor would be working on some practical problems. I interacted with so many professors from electrical engineering, computer science, metallurgy here today, and they're all working on some very practical problems, the problems that are related to the society. Somebody wants to help the farmers, fishermen, right? So some material scientists, some electrical engineers wants to work with some companies, solve the AI problems. So they're all working on some practical problems. Unless you go and work with them, right? So every day you have to spend some time towards the research. Research is the one that makes you stand out compared to the rest of the crowd. That is the one that helps you become confident. And some people will immediately start the company because they are observing what is going in a research lab for 4 years, which is not a small time. You agree? So if you waste time, right, some people who are energetic, they, especially as you guys are young, like 20, not even 20, right? 15, no, not 15. 17, right? You start them 17, 18? Okay, 18 to 21. That's like burst of energy, right? You don't know where to channel your energy. I tell you one thing, if you have real guts, channel your energy in the research. Because that's a lot of voluntary. That's what helps you to become a better. I did not have that opportunity when I was doing my bachelor's. We had like very inquisitive mind. We were asking questions, at least among my group of students. We were like chasing, okay, why, what is always my fascinating question during my undergrad is, if a living matter has electrons, right? Living matter, like for example, my body has electrons, right? And the stone has electrons too, right? The stone is also made out of like basic element materials, the stone and mud, and we are also, so then what is the difference between these two? What makes that guy, what makes me living and grow? What makes the other matter non-living doesn't grow? No, what, that is basically ingredient in terms of the biology, right? The electrons are the same. When you go to the core physics and core matter, so when you decompose the material, right? So even the DNA, all molecules have the electrons. Each molecule, DNA, RNA, you talk about all living matter has the electrons. It's the organization of the electrons, right? So, but at least you should have some inquisitive questions when you are starting your bachelor's. It could be very stupid questions. How many of you are afraid of asking questions in your class? You should not be, right? So no question is a dumb question. So many, actually, this is what I see a fundamental problem for a person who wants to grow and person who is growing. You see the difference between these two? We always want to like grow in the life, right? We want to be like that. But some people are actually becoming like that very fast. The basic difference between these two people, I'm not talking about third category who doesn't want to do anything, right? So I'm talking about people who really wants to do something. Even in those, there are ultimately the person who wants to grow, right? He will keep asking questions, right? He has an inquisitive mind. He will ask that question to his neighbors, right? For example, some guy in your fellow student knows more electronic circuit, right? You will bother him, right? If not, if you are done with him, you will bother an MTech student. If you are done with him, PhD student, professors, right? You should start from there. Ask questions. The more you ask questions, why it is like that, why not like this, right? That's where is the starting ground for you to mature as a person. Because after BTech or after whatever you do, once you join, they assume that you all know everything. You can't ask questions later on. Right? Are we going in the right direction? Am I telling you something important? Is it useful? How do you write the papers? That's a good question. So if you look at even my lab website, I clearly mentioned that, as I said, like, starting from day one, you need to, also, how do you make a movie? Let's say if I ask, how do you play cricket? Right? So first you need to like watch something, you'll start from there, and you want to be associated with a local cricket player, right? In your gully, there may be some good batsman. He may be like doing some bowling. That's how you learn the cricket, starting from, right? Learning from Bhaiya, mere ko ye sikha do, right? And you go and run, right? And you will fall 100 times. Slowly you pick up. So the research is same thing. You have professors who are doing research. They are writing papers. They are publishing papers. So you have to push yourself into a lab. Start working. The publications is the one that makes you confident for everything. It covers all aspects. Research covers all aspects, right? So you don't have to convince if you have publications, do you have to convince your employer for that you really have that skill? Right? You have first author paper and some good journals. Let's say you publish 2-3 papers, which is very possible if you really dedicate yourself from day one. So you don't have to convince. In your CV, it already shows. And even though some people like me may not believe that that's you published, then I will start asking questions. Because you already did that research, you will naturally explain. It should be a natural phenomena. Interview process is a natural phenomena. It's not that you by heart something and mug up something and just go for an interview, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you work from day one in some lab, so that becomes a natural process for you to develop the skills of interview, the skills of raising your own skills, right? And be entrepreneurs or whatever. We want our students to be job providers, not job seekers when they go out. So it all starts from day one, how you are spending your time, right? And research helps you in the subjects. Let's say in your subjects you learn some thermal engineering or some electronic circuits. It looks very boring, right? Fourier transformations. Let's say I keep writing the equations here. Fourier transformation or Laplace. It looks very boring. But you see that same Fourier transformation, same Laplace transformation applied in a research lab for sensing something. You sensed a signal from some sensor, let's say sensor, agricultural sensor, how the plants are, whether the plants are going bad or the fruits are going bad. So let's say you developed a sensor for that. And you see the professors really using those signals, using a Fourier transformation to study those signals. Those skills then the concepts becomes more solidified for you. When you see that concepts being really applied in a research lab, right? So that you feel more important. Oh, I should study this better in the class. Otherwise, you will study as if you are studying for an exam, which is not good. Don't study for your exams. It looks easy to say, but don't study, really. Because each thing that you're learning in your subject is practically related to something. You don't realize that right now, but it's practically related. The concepts looks abstract to you, but they are practically related to something very useful. Yeah, so you should associate with professors to write publications, right? So PhD students are there, they will show you how they wrote it, right? So in my lab, we have undergrad students publishing first author papers. In fact, Funny knows Kerrick, right, who wrote the first author paper, right? Transaction. I've been working with Dr. Funny since I started my lab in 2017. He has been very helpful to, my lab is not an AI lab, right? So we develop sensors, we work on a lot of applications. So when my student suggested to me, let's work on some AI, I did not believe how we can use AI for our application, right? So I said like, okay, let's talk to an expert. So then they introduced me to Dr. Funny, and we've been collaborating for the last 5 years, and we published so many papers. In fact, one of your students just joined my lab, so in Penn State. So he was like a direct admit. Because he published a couple of papers, so our admission committee directly admitted him without even asking my recommendation letter, because they saw my name, so they just directly admitted, right? So the publications are very important. They will help you in getting the jobs. They will help you in higher level, higher education. So associate yourself with all the professors here, do something. And also you have to start your internships also. Don't just stick to the internships here. You have to go and explore outside, right? Other universities, IASC or IITs, right? Even international. So you should have a dedicated, effort towards getting internship opportunities from different places. While in your regular academic time, you can work with professors here. Okay, in summers and other holiday times, you can take up the internship opportunities in other places. That gives you more practical knowledge.
For the next 4 years. Can you give us a systematic breakdown on how we have to use our time for the next 4 years to structure a good master's application?
Yeah, the question is, how do you spend time for next 4 years?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To develop a good CV for masters or something. So the same thing I tell to my undergrad students who write to me emails, we want to work in your lab. So I say that, so if you imagine this as your studies, your core subject, that's the nucleus of you, right? So whatever the 4 or 5 subjects that you are studying, that is the nucleus. So you should spend most of the time mastering that knowledge. And everybody has a free time. right? So some 5 hours per week, let's say, 7 hours per week. Some people who are energetic, they can even dedicate 10 hours per week for extra time. Whether you do that dancing or you do some clubbing, right? We do have enough that next like 10 hours, right? Obviously, I am removing every day 2 hours for your entertainment, right? So people, no human can function without entertainment. Nobody is like, don't push yourself into that kind of nutty person, okay? So where, okay, I don't have any life, just academics is my life. So I don't believe in that. We watch something, play something. More importantly, play something. You have to push yourself to play something, or at least every other day, right? Pick up a game. Challenge your fellow student. Hey, show me how you can play better badminton than me, right? He will beat you, obviously, right? But you have to challenge, right? That will intellectually engage you, right? Competition is very important, right? So you develop all those skills there. So rest of the time, after your study, some play, rest of the time you should always be thinking about future goal, long-term goals. What is my long-term goal? Long-term goal is to be a proficient in electrical engineering, right? Do you really master electrical engineering concepts? Not just getting 100 out of 100 in all subjects. That doesn't really help or convince me either, and any professor, a person who's getting 100 out of 100 really masters the knowledge. I never seen actually. I always have 1 or 2 top rankers above me. They always have less knowledge, to be frank, right? People with practical knowledge think differently. They explore more projects. They push themselves into more projects. For example, when I was in IIT, my professor gave me, okay, there is some equation and he asked me to do a log-log plot, right? So that means you have to take a big logarithmic chart and you have to do a log-log plot. So that means it takes like 4 hours to draw that. So I said, like, I want to do this using computer. I'm talking about 1998, right, where the computers are rare. So I went and coded that equation. In 5 minutes, my plot was ready, right? So you have to show your energy. You have to show off. There's nothing problem, no problem. You have to show off your skills to your fellow students. Hey, I'm able to do this, right? It starts from taking pride in little things like that. That gives you confidence. How I know that I'm a very good coder, or how I understand when I compare myself. But don't be arrogant. When you do that, don't be arrogant, right? So you have to be humble. So if you watch Jeff Bezos, have you ever watched, there's a very famous YouTube video between Shah Rukh Khan and Jeff Bezos. You know who is Jeff Bezos? Right? So there is one famous interview that was in 2018. If you watch that 1 hour video, there's a lot of inspiring things he tells to the young generation, right? One of the questions was asked by Shah Rukh Khan. There's one other lady, I forgot. There are like 3 other people in that panel. You just type in YouTube, Shah Rukh Khan, Jeff Bezos video, like interview, it will pop out, okay? So if you watch in the middle, like in 36th minute, I still remember because I play this to my students. So Shah Rukh Khan asked him, what is important for a new students, right? How they should think themselves towards. So his answer is, if you have some natural skills, somebody is very naturally, let's say, some people are born with a lot of natural beauty, right? She may or he may win some medals, but that's a God gifted, right? But you should not be proud about it. What you should be proud about is what you hard earned, because that is the one that is going to stick with you for the rest of your life, not the one that naturally comes to you. Let's say you are a natural person who is getting all 100 out of 100, right? That's like without hard effort. You are getting everything. Just by looking at this, you are able to understand everything. But you should not be proud about it. What you should be proud about is the one which you work hard and then that you earn, that you should be proud. Because that you work hard to earn it, right? That's what makes you really stand out, right? So because the natural gifts that you get may not help you be competitive. Maybe competitive in this circle, but when you step out, there are so many other people naturally gifted like you. You will not compete with them because you are not habituated to working hard. Right? You did not earn anything by working hard. Everything was naturally coming to you. Right? So that's very important. You have to work hard to earn something. So that will stay with you. That's not my suggestion. That's Jeff Bezos' suggestion. I really liked it. Making sense? Yeah, some people just have dreams. Okay, I want to be there. So, but they don't see how can some people say, I want to be in MIT, Stanford, I want to do PhD, or I want to be Amazon, something, right? But when you talk to that person, he's not doing anything. You see that, right? They are not exploring their natural environment. They are not working with the professors here. They are not excelling in this place, right? How can you then think of something that is beyond your reach? So don't daydream, okay? You have to put things in your action. You have to act. And most of the engineering, as the title actually says, so it's all interdisciplinary. There's no, because we are growing up in Indian environment, everybody thinks computer science is the top field, right? So next top field is maybe electrical engineering. Next, only by default or by forcefully, you will take up other disciplines like material science, right? Or some metallurgy. But all these disciplines have equal value. They get equal job salaries. So if not here, outside in India. Right, in US, a top material person who is graduating with material science, he will get into Intel. So some of my students are working for Intel. They are working for Qualcomm. They are working for some other companies. Right? There are some of them. So you will get equal salaries. Okay, so please don't push yourself by default mode. Okay, I have to learn C++ by end of third year. I have to get into a software company. Okay, that's not the only way. That's not the only opportunities. If you are really interested, when you are teaching, when you are learning different subjects, if you are really attracted to electronics, some of you are actually curbing your natural skills. Although a person is able to understand electronics or material science, very good, but he's actually decreasing his enthusiasm for this, saying that, oh, there's no life for these subjects. Let me forget. Let me just go to the computer science. Let me learn Python and C++. Let me join some Google or some other company. That's not good, right? If you have really good understanding, don't decrease your enthusiasm. So keep promoting yourself in that field. Okay, do some masters, right? Or wait for an opportunity. For example, I was in Bangalore for IEEE Census conference. There's a TCS research people who are behind me. Raj, please help us. So they are developing sensors and AI for their, for their company for oil testing or for pipelines. There are some gas flowing in their pipes. They want to put some sensors, automatic sensors that can inform what is going wrong. If there is something going wrong in the gas, if the gas is leaking out of their pipes. So they want to be automatically detected and sensed and then informed to the person who is inspecting. That guy maybe already took a night call and he's maybe relaxing watching cricket, right? But something dangerous thing is happening in the company. A gas is leaking. So you want automatic sensors that detects that flaw and informs to that person through the cell phone, right? So there are companies which are naturally shifting, like TCS, from, they are not just doing, it's an IT company, right, TCS? But they are doing a lot of other things. So because you got the jobs only in IT, that you only think, don't push yourself. If you really start liking the other subjects, please pay attention to that, right? Encourage yourself, talk to your professors. Because each job has very good opportunity, each field has very good opportunities.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I am currently in third year, and I have some interest like in doing particularly MS, in particularly core field. Nowadays, like electrical vehicle is one of the most emerging sector.
Which one?
Electrical vehicles,
Okay, yeah.
and like that many fields are there. So basically, my main motive is to do particularly EVs. So like how, like what things should I target in my fourth year, like regarding that particular research or like any publications, so that I will get a good college regarding this particular field.
So exactly. So again, going back to that question, previous question. So let's say you identify now electrical vehicles, right? So there may be there. I'm sure there is one professor here working on that problem. So he's your local guide to you, right? So you have to work with that professor. That's like one way of, like, I can see. That's like the main way of how you should like work towards that. So work with that professor, like, you have to be nice, the knowledge doesn't come easily, right? Knowledge doesn't come with arrogant manner or reckless manner, right? You have to be behind professors, their PhD students, okay? So to look at that, how smart you guys are. The things the people are doing at their PhD level, you want to do that at your undergraduate level, right? So for that, you have to work hard with in multiple ways, not just your behavior. So if nobody would like to encourage a student with inconsistent behavior, they want to see that, okay, you have some good aptitude and attitude to learn certain things. So go to the lab, work with the professors, and most of this knowledge, fortunately, can also be obtained by watching the videos, YouTube videos. You can learn from multiple ways, right? So there are forums, YouTube lectures. You can master a lot of knowledge these days just watching YouTube and online. For each and every topic, you type the topic name, it will pop out, right? So learning something should come from multiple angles, not one angle. If it comes from one angle, you will not be effectively learning. Let's say you are only learning the topic from your class instruction, it will not help you. Learn the same topic from like watching somebody practical experience, right? So you have to learn some things from multiple angles. That will help you.
Sir, you are focusing on working hard, but how to elevate ourselves? Like, am I doing so that I can get something? I should work smart, not hard. So, how to elevate ourselves?
Yeah, so I don't think there is this concept, hard work and smart work, right? I don't think there is anybody in the world, including Einstein. I used to earlier think when I was growing up, oh, Einstein and Newton are so smart, they don't have to work, right? That's what we normally think. Oh, Newton just sat under the apple tree and he just wrote the equations. They don't have to work hard like us, right? So maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, they can write everything. Einstein, maybe he's just mostly enjoying his life in the beach, right? And then just got some equations and he just goes and writes and then go back to the beach again. So that's what we think. It's not true. These guys are addicted towards the science, right? So it's hard for them to deviate from what they are doing. So what you call now, that's a smart work or hard work? Continuously thinking about something and working towards it. Is it smart work or hard work?
For them, it's not a work, it's their passion.
So that's what exactly I'm saying. So I don't believe in people saying, oh, I'm a smart worker. It may help, in achieving some small targets, goals. It will not help you get lifelong skills. Without hard work, period. I don't believe in even my advisors who achieved so many things, right? So they are all continuously working hard to their maximum extent possible.
Hello, sir. Sir, I personally have a question, sir. Sir, in every year, so many research papers are being published. So, how many of these papers are really being used by companies, or how many ideas are being taken for consideration, sir?
Very good question, actually. see, have you guys, gold expedition, you know that? Hunting for how the gold is made, you know that? You know gold, right? Metal. So you see a chunk of gold here, right? And then somebody wearing a nice ornament of gold. But where is this gold came from? How, in a raw form, how it is available? In a raw form, when you look at, so when I dig the earth, do you think I will get this much of gold? Or do you think an ornament is naturally made, whatever you order, an ornament, so I go to that place and dig and there will be a nice ornament? How is that ornament made? Made from this much of gold. But how you get this much of gold? Have you ever watched any videos? How the gold is like, right? So research and products are like that. So many people do research. So many people do research. That's like gold expedition. There will be so much unwanted thing, right? So for example, let's say my research is about finding the gold, right? So there are 100 different directions now I can go digging. Only when I go this way and find there is no gold, then it will tell the other people, hey, don't go this way. For you, that may be useless because I went there and I found no gold. You may think that I'm a useless person. But that is very important for the other future generation. Hey, don't travel that road. He already went there and he did not find anything, right? So every research is important. Every paper is important. So I have this debate with my own cousins who are PhDs. Now they are working for Intel. Unfortunately, they don't clearly understand what research is. Although they are PhDs from good institutes in the US. I don't mistake you. Even people with PhD have a problem in understanding what actually PhD and research is. Right? Every paper, everything is important towards a product development.
Sir, does the university or college matters, or the course which we take in the particular college matters?
Is the course matters or the college matters?
Like if we get some smaller level course which we don't want, but in good college, will that help us, or should we take our own choice course in some low level college?
You matter most. You matter to yourself most, right? So, and that's a good question. But ultimately, whenever there's a question like that, you are not talking about MIT versus some other institute, right? You are comparing nearby universities. So the quality doesn't degrade. The quality doesn't degrade between institutes, right? Even the courses, the quality degrades within ourselves, right? So you become less strict, less, pursuing things once you join, right? So if you have hardworking nature, wherever you are, as long as you are in a good institute, like NIT, I'm not saying that, okay, you will excel in wherever you are. Maybe you will, but it may take a little longer. Let's say you are in some remote university as opposed to NIT, but a person who is more passionate than you can excel, but he may take a little bit more longer time because he's finding his way to get into a good institute, while students here are wasting their time.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I'm planning to take a transfer to another university in US or Canada. Right now, I'm in my third year. So how should I go about for that?
So that's like you're challenging yourself. I would suggest finish your, bachelor's here, go for master's, right? So you don't get, anyway, you are going to spend money on, right? So you're not getting a free seat there, yes, right? So you're going to spend money. Why not spend that money on something doing master's in a good place? So you graduate with whatever you're doing, right? Because you're already in third year. I understand if you are in first year.
Okay, sir. I have already applied to a couple of universities right now itself, sir. So because I planned in such a way that these courses which I have taken till now would be transferable to that course. So there would be no wastage of years for me, but I would be choosing a better stream and I would get a better work experience over there. That is the reason why I'm trying to...
You can, definitely that's one way to think. And yeah, if you have that opportunity lined up, sure, go for it. So you should always do what is in your heart, right? So if you are passionate doing that, just go.
I'm in metallurgy stream, so that's the reason why.
Yeah, so yeah, I understand some streams are hard, but still, I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about other students who are in your same class. So I should not be telling them, okay, that is the best path, which is not, right? So they can, other students, they can pursue their degree here, they can go for masters, and then they can also get good opportunities.
So sorry for the interruption. Our sir is like he has a meeting now. He has to leave. Like, Dean of Student Welfare, where is sir? I heartily welcome Dr. Veeresh Kumar sir, Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. V. Sandeep sir, Head of Electrical Department, Dr. Yuvraju sir, Assistant Professor of EC Department. I request Veeresh sir, Yuvraju sir and Sandeep sir to privilege our chief guest with a token of honor. I request Srinivasan sir to come on to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you there? Excellent. Brother, I would like to add a few points to your question. There is, in NEP, National Education Policy, there is student exchange program. So if you're interested in any of the university, you just go ahead and apply. Okay? If their credits and our credits are matching, then you have to apply through proper channel to the Dean Academic Affairs. And then if there is any possibility, then you will be given a chance. If all credits and other things are matching, then you can go there and do your, you can continue your studies over there. If credits are not matching, then it is very difficult. Okay, right. And then I would like to add certain things what Rajasekhar Garu has told. Hard work, it's very important. Without hard work, nothing will be, you will not cherish, that's it. Okay. So way back in 2006, when I started doing my research work, at that time I started working with artificial intelligence. Okay. And I was, giving my idea to professors and they were laughing at me. What is this nonsense fellow? What he's trying to do? He's trying to, introduce AI into mechanical engineering, how it is going to help. But later on now, today you see, wherever you go, all departments are running behind AI, right? So that is what this topic is all about, interdisciplinary of different engineering domains. It is high topic these days, okay? And also sir has told a lot of things which you concentrate and try to implement, okay? So you should have a plan, you should have a vision, otherwise you will end up with nowhere, okay? So you have to have a target and then you try to reach it out. Maybe it may take some time, but you are not supposed to deviate from the target, okay? So always focus on your target. All the very best. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful lecture, okay? So we look forward to have such sessions again and again in our campus. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Sandeep, sir, would you like to add in? Yuvraj, sir. Thank you, sir, for your presence. Sir, you may continue the session. Yes, sir, there are a few more questions.
Sure. I mean, I can just show some of my work, but if they have questions, that's better to first answer.
There are slides on it.
Upload చేసే కదా నీదే కదా ఇది is this no the one
Red color.
కనిపించట్లేదు PPT I don't see that PPT here. I don't think this is yours. ఇది ఫనీ నీది కాదు అనుకుంటాను.
This one, red one.
ఇదేనా? But I don't see it. అసలు
Copy.
ఏమన్నా మార్చావా?
నేనేం మార్చలేదు.
ఫైల్ దీంట్లోనే ఉండాలి కదా. ఇక్కడ PPT ఉండాలి ఇందాక. Oh yeah, sorry. It's there. I mean, the research, this is all research. I mean, I can show a little bit.
So he's centering you. Is this side?
I mean, let me take questions. If not, then I will. This is going to be boring. Right? I don't want to talk about my research unless just.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, there is another short question is there. Like, you completed your MTech in like biomedically, like properly, like you go there and research on that particular topic. Then after that, we came to know that you did something like on IEEE Sensor Society. So like how your gears changed toward that particular thing, like what motivates you, or like how your idea came up to like go in like sensor side of that particular IEEE, because it is basically electrical society. So like just have a little bit experience like how you change your directions toward that particular thing, because it's not easy to like go in that way.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the question is, my area of research is biomedical, right? But I'm working on sensors, right? And how did I go into that direction? Is that? Yeah, I mean, is it hard to go and change directions? But in fact, I never changed my too much direction. It naturally, when you are chasing, for example, my background is physics, right? So my MTech is also optical sensing, optical imaging. So my MTech in IIT Delhi was related to optics and physics. So, and my PhD, although it is in biomedical engineering, but 90% of my PhD work is developing novel sensors. So sensors for sensing the body signals, right? For example, you have electrodes to sense the electrical signals, right? So I was also developing some novel sensors during my PhD towards a biomedical problem. So I'm always in the sensing research throughout my applications are in biomedical, but my basic expertise is developing instrumentation, pattern recognition. So that's what my entire career has been, image reconstruction. But we do change directions. For example, changing to an AI. So we don't completely change. We collaborate with people, right? So you maintain core expertise. You have to maintain core expertise. Don't try to do everything, right? So you can, for example, that's why we are working with Dr. Funny, because I'm not an AI expert. I don't plan to be an AI expert, right? So therefore I collaborate. I give the problem to Funny. I ask him for funny, this is a problem, I want to chase this problem. We share the domain knowledge, what domain I am working on, right? Which he doesn't have a lot of expertise with. We share our domain knowledge. We share our application and we seek their expertise. Okay, for this, which AI algorithm is better, right? And then we work as a collaboration. That's like where you should not have ego, right? So you should, one fundamental thing to grow is not having egoistic or arrogant mind. It's very easy to be ego and arrogant, right? It's very easy. What's not easy is appreciating others for their help, right? And then learning from them. A person, okay, how many of you think, like, let's say, for example, let me give you a case study. There are two people working in a company. Let's say one person has a lot of skills, right? He can fix anything. He can troubleshoot anything in a second. The other person is not as skillful as him, right? But he understands a lot of things and is very humble, okay? And he works with leadership nicely, above people, below people, everybody. But he understands a lot of things. Who has more growth opportunities in that company? Who will become eventually the leader? Right? So that's very obvious. So please understand this. Like, you being skillful will not help you. You have to work as a team player. You have to be humble. You have to be learning. That's when the most of the learning will come. Unless you are humble, how can you learn new things? Right? So yeah, so we collaborate with people and seek their help and expertise to promote so it comes naturally to us. So changing the direction of the lab, right? It should come naturally to you. We learn a lot of biology. It's not my favorite thing, but we work on biomedical problem. So we learn biology also a lot, which is more complex.
Not properly deviating from the topic. It's like just branching a little bit side, cover the knowledge and come back to your
You maintain
domain.
core expertise. So always you have your own strength. This is undergraduate time is the one where you form your core expertise, right? Maybe another 2-3 years. Then after that, it's all about managing the other disciplines while maintaining core expertise. For example, I cannot be a strong AI person because my mind always thinks like a sensor, applications, right? So you will develop a core expertise in your undergraduate years. For example, chemistry is very hard for me to understand. So physics is my strength, chemistry is my weakness. So you can never make me a chemical or a biochemist or a chemical engineer. Okay? So that's why during your undergraduate years, that's when you start liking some topic and accepting challenges in that topic. And where you adapt some other things. AI will come, other people will come, you will interact with them, learn something from them, but you maintain your core expertise in one direction.
There is another question, like whenever we ask regarding MS to anyone, like any faculty or any professional person, then they will definitely prefer like go to abroad regarding that particular thing. But like when we ask about that, can't we do in India? So like they told that research opportunities are not there or not that much good. Sir, what the actually thing like which lags India in that particular MS? Why they will tell like prefer abroad for that particular thing?
So, in the US, there is a standard of education. Whichever university you go, they maintain very high standard, right, in terms of practical curriculum. But here, NIT and IITs are good, but if you go to a smaller university, the drastically decreases, right, the quality. So that's why people actually, going abroad is always good. You should get a different exposure, right? So I was also thinking I should come back to India and work at some point, but I got delayed. So therefore, even if I would come and I would retire very early. So that's why I wanted to stay there where there is no retirement for me. So professors, they don't retire until like 75 or 80 years there. So that's my selfish, because I started late, I wanted to stay there. But it provides you a very good experience. When you go for master's or PhD, you get very good exposure to different practical problems, which you can come back and apply here. But there are very good masters. For example, I learned for my lifetime about optics and optical engineering from IIT Delhi, which is one of the best places for studying optics, right? So there are master's program here where they will give you a very strong knowledge. You don't have to come to US just for masters, but for PhD for sure. If you want to do a PhD, then I highly recommend, like, if there is an opportunity to come to US. But for masters, there are places here where you can get excellent knowledge without coming to US. If you can crack IIT, exams like GATE exam, you can go to some good institutes and do a very good master's.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Within the domain of research, if I'm trying to write a research paper on a topic which I have a very little to basic knowledge. So if I'm planning to write a paper on AI, as right now as a second year student, I have a very little, personally I have a very little to basic knowledge. And I can't use that knowledge to work on it practically on a lab, even though if I have the resources, because I have no knowledge, it is hard for me to work it practically. And if I'm planning to write the paper by reading or 100 to 200 research papers, how can I make it more efficient? The paper which I'm writing, without having much exposure to practical knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you have to, in a spiritual world also, they say that you have to be associated with a guru to have a, right? Yes. Same thing here. How can you do something without your gurus? Right? Yeah, you can maybe challenge yourself and do it, but it will be much harder. So they will guide you immediately, like, okay, I want to do a research in this topic. So read some research. There is a proper channel that is established already in the universities, working. So many, you have to go to a research lab and work in a research lab. That's a straightforward answer. There's like, there is no particular theory, a particular established methods of how to do research, how to write a paper, right? So it's a natural thing. So you start exploring things, you write something, and the professor looks at it, oh, this is not good, you should write like this, or you should work like this, right? And then it will take some more time. It's like years of practice, right? It's months of practice. If you are very dedicated, it's months of practice to write a research paper or to do a good research problem. How do we go? So there are professors for that, right? So if you do that, no, I don't want to go to any professor, I want to do it myself, learning from, that's not a proper method of doing things, right?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, basically in modern news, recent news, if we see that many companies are laying off their industry experts, like Google has fired 20,000 employees of their company. How we can think about going into IT sector, like how we can plan our future in that one, in modern situations?
So it's not a modern situation, it's an age-old situation.
No, sir.
Right? When I was doing my master's, 2000, I graduated, I got software job. I thought of like being the next Narayana Murthy. Like, that's what my dream was. Like, because I'm very good programmer, I was like dreaming, okay, I will become like that, right?
Yes, sir.
So only when I saw the jobs are not, they are being removed, they are not getting offers. I'm the first one in my MTech batch to be placed on August 14th night, Independence Day. Okay. So I was giving parties to everybody. They already took a lot of money, celebrated, right? I'm supposed to join a company and no company was willing to offer me the job.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So this is an old situation, not a new situation. It's new for you, but it's an old situation. Everybody knows.
Okay, sir.
Right? So the problem here is, that's what I was saying. That's what happens to the majority of the crowd, right? Getting laid off. Because why you are in such a position to getting laid off? Maybe the company doesn't have a need for you because you are doing so routine job. They think that, oh, by just removing this person, our company can still survive, right? So that's why getting removed from a job when you are 20s is fine. But happening that at 35, 30, 40, 45, is problematic because you have a life, not just your life, you have children, your wife, right? It's not fun to lose a job. Okay? So that's why as you age, you should go towards becoming a unique person in a company so that nobody can remove you. Even if they remove you, they have to think 100 times. Or you should be able to have a survivable skills, marketable skills. You should position yourself in such a situation as you age, year by year, that you're becoming unique. So if you, let's say you get a job now in TCS or something and you enjoy the life, just do what the manager is doing, okay? He will give you very small, very important this one. When you join the company never gives you challenging work. Very few companies gives you a very high-end, the skills that will help you for future life. Their job is not to help you to get the skills for your future jobs. Their job is to, their primary role is to get some work done from him. Put the paper from here to here. That's it. Or put the file, change some file texture from this to this. But that's not a useful skill. They may give you $100,000 for that job. But you should not be happy with that thing. Because you should always critically think, what I am learning in this, right? Always upgrade your skills. When you upgrade your skills, you don't worry about somebody removing you from the job. So these are the people, although they are fired, they are not comfortable with getting a new job because they did not upgrade their skills. They are enjoying their life for the 4 years working for Google or any company. They did not upgrade anything. Their job did not help them, or they also did not have motivation to upgrade themselves. Make sense? So always keep thinking what I'm doing, right, as you age. So that's why when you become 30, 35, you should be in a very good position to help the company grow or to float your own companies. So acquire a lot of skills.
Still anyone interested in asking your questions? Anyone?
Hello, sir. So, my question is that right after the BTech, we are having some good opportunities. So, what edge does it give to get into research and to consider PhDs? And also, mostly it is perceived in our society that after the PhD, we are only going to in academics. So basically, this is my question.
Yeah, this is also a very good question, a common problem in our society. We don't value PhDs much, right? That's the basic problem. So PhD is something, a person who doesn't have anything to do in their life, they will go to PhD. That's a common notion, right? So which is wrong, right? So I know so many people, as I said now, when I went to IEEE census, all these company people wants to leave their company and join my lab for PhD. Or I get emails from people working for company because they are not satisfied in their role. They don't see themselves upgrading their skills, right? So that's when you want to do a PhD, suddenly. So the PhD is the one that is supposed to help you to stabilize your life, to get skills for your lifelong, not just for yourself, so that you can even help the future generation, right? So PhD is more. If you have that little itching to want to do PhD, you should go for it, right? Because that will help you. Yeah, so what is the edge that you get if you do a PhD, right? Compared to, so obviously with a PhD, you have a lot of knowledge, right? So you can be in a directorship position inside the company, or if you are working in a research and development, so you will be given the importance to lead the research and development. while other people like BTech and master students are doing some Jando work. That means some small works. So you will be able, because you have that knowledge, so company will trust you to take up their research and development role, right? Or forget about companies. You have knowledge now, you can be a faculty, right? So you can be a faculty in a good academic institute. You can work with so many companies. How many of you think that, like, professors just do teaching and maybe sometimes research and don't work with any industry? So we work with a lot of industry. Industry, if I open my emails, I can show you like how many companies which I work with, right? So we are helping the companies. So if you master the sufficient knowledge, right? Companies will be behind you. Help us in this research. So for example, recently I was telling, right, TCS Research was asking me to help their develop some sensors for their different things that they are exploring. Right? Once you get that expertise, once you become famous for that expertise, right, the people come knocking your doors. Oh, he can help us in that, solving that problem. Companies will. So your job is to get that kind of core expertise. Whatever you are working, sensors, or you are developing a best sensors, right? Or best AI algorithms, or he can even combine this AI and sensors very nicely, right? That's the interdisciplinary research work. So you have to get that expertise. Then you can do many things with that. Either you go and work for a company, or you can be a faculty, and where you can help students and the companies. That's more powerful than working just for the company, and more stable also. Nobody will remove the professor, right? You have a lifelong job. And at the same time, you can also get money by working with companies. More freedom, no tensions. Right? So that's the edge that you get if you do a PhD. So many people, because of their family situations, whether the parents doesn't like you doing PhD, they think, okay, tera to life khatam ho gaya. So if you do PhD means satyanash ho gaya isko. So many people have wrong notions, right? So if you are my child, that means they are almost thinking you took sannyasam. That means it's gone, he's becoming a saint. So there's a mental perception. Many people don't, that's when you have to educate your parents. So don't decrease your enthusiasm because your society and your parents, because they have limited knowledge, limited exposure. You came to NIT, they did not go to NIT. So it's your job to educate them. My parents were not willing me to do PhD. I got a gazetted officer job. I'm a scientist in DRDO, and they were looking for matches for me to get married when I was like 23. Right? So then I said, I want to go to PhD. So they said, like, are you mad? So now they appreciate, they understand. So it's your passion that should drive you. That I eventually will give you the edge. It may take time. But PhD does have edge, a strong edge.
Excuse me, sir. I had one last question. Can you explain what we have to do in a step-by-step manner, like in the first year, second year, third year, and fourth year, so that our application actually stands out well for our master's program later on? Like, can you give the exact goals we have to achieve in the first year, second year, third year, and fourth year?
Simple answer, publications. Associate, first find the research lab where you can, so without a research lab, how can you do, right? So obviously in a CV, when I review the applications, international applications, right? A master's student, somebody applied for a master's or a PhD program. So we first look at the CV. So in the CV, I just immediately scroll through whether this guy has done any publications. 90% of the people won't have any publications. They cite the local conferences as their publications, which we don't value much, right? So you have to then, still that counts. So don't decrease your enthusiasm. So you should push yourself into multiple directions. The publications just doesn't happen by working in one project in 1 year, you'll not get a publication. Get a lot of experience, push yourself into multiple things within one lab, right? Slowly you will get 1 or 2 publications, right? And you can list all the projects. And then there is an SOP, statement of purpose. So you have to write nicely there why you want to do masters. That should come naturally. It should not be standard statements. right? What motivates you? So for that, you need to research the school which you are applying. Oh, there is a Raj that he's doing sensors. It should be relate your background to that person. You should identify 3 professors, right? Where you can say that in your SOP, because of my background in Dr. Funny's lab, I worked on AI, so I feel that this AI can be helpful for this research work done by Professor Raj, this research work done by somebody. So you have to stitch that thing, right? Write a nice SOP. Okay, then your application will be stand out, right, compared to others.
Sir, apart from publications, what's the weightage of these
So
national
GPA is the
level?
one thing. So one thing is the GPA. You should score more than 3.2 out of 4. So for you, I think the conversion is hard. I think you should have more than 8, 7.5 for sure, right, to get into the good schools. I've been recently educating our departments. So don't think that students who are getting 7 GPA here, when you convert into their GPA, it will be 3 point less than 3. So I was telling them, even the very good students here would end up getting 3.5 and 8. So don't expect that 3.5 GPA from Indian students at undergraduate level, because very few people will get A grade here, unlike in US, right? So I've been also telling them, change your mindset when you are evaluating Indian students. But nobody can do that for everybody, right? Because I'm in there, my department, I keep telling the admission committee. But you should have if you see more C's and D's in yours, so people will go through your transcript. If they see C's, D's, right? So that's an automatic, kind of a no. B or above. Minimum B plus, what is the grade here? B plus, you have B plus? A, B, C. Oh, yeah. A, B, C. E. Excellent, A, B, C. Okay? And also, you should I keep telling to students which I interact with, mention that in your SOP, at least from your professors, you should get a letter. We don't have B plus here in our institute. We don't have A minus here. Therefore, our students end up getting lower GPA than other places. You have to explain that. Either you don't expect, your professors will write in their letters, right? At least you should explain that in your SOP. Why you scored less than 7 or 7.5. Just justify that. And not many US professors know that. And they think that they have a grading like there, right? Where there's A minus, B plus, B minus. So we have so many things. So here, unfortunately, you don't have there, right? A of B. So then you lose 2 points or something like that. So so make sure that you are above B and above in your transcripts, right? And then publications. So these are the ones that make you stand out.
Is there any weightage for taking part in competitions and all?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's always, but that's subject to, right? For example, everybody here can write, I participated in your local IEEE competition, right? What is the way to normalize, and how a US professor would know that? How important that is? And everybody is writing that. Each CV would have, they participated in some competition, right? If you collect all the 100 CVs here, everybody writes the same thing. So it's what your professors write is more important in their letters. So your letters from your professor can overcome your defects in your GPA. If the professor can write okay, he is the top student, he is the one, that automatically pushes everything above. So you have to be nice to your professors. At least for that reason, right? So yeah, the competitions are good. That will naturally enhance your skills, right? But in CV, when reading the CV, they don't help you. But obviously, those are the skills that helps you. So you should participate in all these competitions. I'm not saying that you should not. Right? So.
Any more questions?
Hello, sir. So, what is your take on doing masters after like 2 years of experience in India?
Sure, yeah. Actually, one of my cousin, let me give you this typical story. My cousin's son, he studied in some BITS, somewhere in BITS, not BITS Pilani. He's a computer science guy. So he ended up getting like 2.7 his GPA. Sorry, he ended up getting 2.7 GPA. So he was planning to go to Australia and all because US requires, he was thinking US requires GRE and all, so which is very hard to get. So he thought like he wants to go to Australia and all. So that's why his mother, who's my cousin, never even consulted me. Think it says very hard, it's my son will go there. So I kept quiet, I did not bother. So because I don't want to push students, even though, right, unless they are interested, you should never push people who are not interested, obviously, even your own relatives. So after 3 years, he accumulated a very good experience. He's interested in cybersecurity. He's very passionate about cybersecurity. So he did a lot of certifications while working for a company in cybersecurity. Although his undergraduate GPA is 2.7, right, he became passionate about cybersecurity. He started mastering a lot of knowledge, did a lot of certification courses, right? And the 4th year, after working for 4 years, so then my cousin asked me, okay, finally he got admission in Australia and Canada, and so what you suggest? So I just gave one suggestion. With that kind of experience, he can easily get into a very good master's program here, right? Ask him to write nice CV, put all the certificates that he did in his application, and that's the only suggestion I gave. And he did that, and he got into a very good university in US, and he already got placed. It's already one year. So you have to show off your experience in the CV and how that experience is related, how that experience is helping, why you want to, even despite that experience, why you want to do masters, right? So say that I want to enhance my career, I want to work for even, take up higher challenges in my life. So therefore this master's program will help me. So my work experience would therefore count. So it's always appreciated, I suggest students to come with experience so that they have mental maturity, what they are doing in MS, rather than straightforwardly jumping in the MS. So this guy is more matured. Compared to other students in his class, he got an internship and he's already placed. So all his experience of 4 years counted for him to get placed during his master's. He just went for one internship and he already got job opportunity. So his past experience counted.
Sir, so you did your PhD from Stanford, I assume.
No, my postdoc was from Stanford.
Yeah. So what made you stand out in that application, sea of applications?
To get into Stanford.
Yeah.
Okay. So because my PhD is from one of the top advisors. So my PhD advisor is very well known, kind of a father figure, right? To get into his lab is very extremely difficult. My professor's name is Li Hong Wang. Right? He's one of the very strict professors, and I'm the first Indian joining his lab. Okay, so, and he's now at Caltech. My PhD professor changes his place every 10 years. He goes to one university. So he went from Texas A&M to Washington University. Now he's at Caltech. So professors change, right? Even we think like when other universities offer better opportunities, we just go, right? So what made me get selected in his lab? Because in my master's, I had 7 publications. So I did 3 masters, right? So by 4th master's, I wanted to do PhD in that lab, but I was not satisfied. Oh, my PhD has to be in a very good lab. So with that kind of mentality I had. So but in my master's, I ended up publishing 4 first author papers and 4 second and third author papers. So my PhD professor, when I met him at a conference, I said, I want to apply to your lab. Many people suggested your lab. So then he said, okay, let's discuss after the conference. And we are the only two people, and he interviewed me for 1 hour. So what are your publications, what you're doing? So based on that, he selected me. Right? And based on that, I got into Stanford. So one thing, so every time make sure wherever you are, you have to be doing the best in that place. Right? So if you are not doing best in that place, thinking that, okay, chalo, when I go to MS, then I will open all my arms and flex my arms and do. No. If you can't do good here, how can you do good there? And the bad things that you do here will be counted there. You have to get recommendation letter from the same professors. Right? You cannot just escape that. Right? So you have to do good here. Every place that you are in, try to exploit the best out of that place. That's the virtue of a good student. If you are not exploiting the best out of this place, how can you exploit the best out of future places? Impossible.
So last call to ask your questions. Anyone? So would you like to add something? Anything?
Nothing. Keep your enthusiasm. Keep working very hard. No shortcuts. No shortcuts. Right? So like the subjects. Push yourself to like the subjects. Don't expect. It's a very common misunderstanding. A good professor means person who can explain you everything clearly, right? Within 1 hour time he has. It's very impossible. How can even my students think, right? The best professor means somebody who can explain everything nicely within 1 hour period that I get to teach. That's not good professors, right? Professors have limited time. So we teach like 1 hour. It's not like your 10+2 and intermediate education where people will be falling behind you, make you sit overnight and make you study for your entrance exam. That's not university education, right? The professors mean they just like give you the hints. So you have to work hard to learn more, right? From different channels. You have YouTube, you have that, you have this. If what I teach doesn't, you don't understand, you can immediately Google. There is like a lot of resources, right? So please, exploit all the internet of things that you are living in, right? You have access to wide variety of things. MIT even has an open courseware where you can see in what topic we are learning. There are rich resources, right? So you have to do a self-exploration that actually starts from this. The people who do the self-exploration, these are the people who will survive later because they are learning that thing right from the year one, right? So self-learn things. Very important to self-teach, self-learn, discuss with your colleagues, students, right? Because that's what is going to happen when you go to the job. Nobody is going to make you sit and explain things. You have to learn that from your university education. Okay, yeah, that's my message, okay? Hopefully it's helpful. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative seminar. All these valuable insights you gave us really gave us a new perspective that one should adopt. All your knowledgeable words will really help us in the future, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our Honorable Head of the Department, Dr. V. Sandeep, sir, to share his valuable words.
Yeah, very good evening to all of you. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Rajasekhar for accepting our invitation, and then we are also glad to host him today at NIT Andhra Pradesh. I would like to also make special thank to Dr. Panikrishna also, who is a key person bringing him here to our campus today also. And very good interaction session. I would see that today happened because many sessions students never ask questions, and this session many students they come forward and then asking questions because the reason he is from abroad and he wanted to fly to abroad. Is it right? And LORs also, letter of recommendation letters. So many funny things happens with the faculty members. I know as a faculty member, head of the department, I used to get request for many students daily, at least one LOR from one student at least. And how they write? Is it right? So you approach some freelancer, you give some money. Is it right? And he will write something. And you make all, if you see the LORs, only just 10% is the truth, remaining is all fake. Is it right? So that's what, then how do you get the admission into world-class university? Yourself, you think it. Is it right? That's what also professor also telling. So you should have a passion, you should have genuine. Is it right? Then you will get anything, okay? So that's what, be serious and anything you want. And even my parents also, they were not happy with my decision to join PhD. That time also my father and mother was both. They were objected actually because I got placed after a master's. And but I decided to join PhD in IIT Delhi. But my father, he inquired. I strongly decided I will join it. That's it. And then he inquired. He took some more than I think 10 days time. He inquired with a lot of people, his friends, family, and many people and all. Then finally, he realized that PhD is a very great thing that very less people will do, and then they will have a lot of greater opportunities in their life. Then he allowed me. So that's what you should also have. Even recently also we have given one direct PhD program opportunity from IIT Madras. We have MOU. And unfortunately students are not more in the number to apply. Is it right? People have a lot of doubts and confusions and all. What are the opportunities after PhD and all? What is it? IIT Madras is India's #1 institute. After BTech, directly without gate, without entrance system, directly you are welcome to IIT Madras for PhD. Then what do you think about opportunities after PhD? You have plenty of opportunity. As mentioned, Professor also, say when you go to industry, finally everybody has to do some job after your studies, whether it is BTech or a master's or PhD. It's a job only. Is it right? So then based on your qualification or degree skills, you will put into some that kind of position. That's it. And accordingly your salaries also will vary. Is it right? Now that's what actually. Even if you fight also, so you don't need to worry if you have skills, definitely you'll get a job in other place. Okay? So they were removing some kind of, useless fellows, some were not properly working fellows and all. So you don't need to worry about themselves actually. Okay? So that's it. And also you can also try MS or higher studies. After having experience, definitely, it's a maturity level, this will be definitely, it's a different actually. Even one of my classmates also, there are many examples, even one of my BTech classmate, he worked in Intel. And after that, he wanted to desperately do MS. He went to Arizona State University. And he was come back to again India and then join Intel. Again, he could not survive here. Again, now he is in Amazon as the chief security manager in USA, as for Amazon actually. So like that, so things will come automatically. Okay, so one thing is you should not move you should not deviate completely your core area. You should be stabilized with that, and many things will come to you only. Whatever AI or ML, that's what many speakers now they are telling. So those new things will come and attach to you only. You don't need to deviate. So automatically, whatever advancement things will come, that will come and attach to you only. So that way you can wait for the opportunities and then grab them. So that's it. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your words. So all good things in our life come to an end. So this is seminar. So I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to all those who presented here. So to everyone present here on this seminar on research and development in interdisciplinary engineering organized by Electrical Association and AI and Robotics Club. At the outset, I thank our chief guest and resource person, Sri Rajasekhar sir. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence, sir. Thank you. I sincerely thank our head of the department, Dr. V. Sandeep sir, for gracing this event with your presence. We have been fortunate enough to have your support, sir. Thank you so much. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Fani Krishna, sir. We are extremely privileged to have you here today, sir. I also thank all our faculty members for spending your valuable time to attend this session. A special thanks to PNP Club, EEE Association and Air Club members. Thank you all.